And, of course, the defensive players must remain 10 yards away from the ball, so they're lined up at the 32 of William Tennant. The Eagles back deep. It's taken by number 44, Forrest Davis. Big run, folks. And Forrest Davis, I think, had his batting gloves on there. He's all wrapped up on the arms.
I believe that was a 28-yard return that time. He fielded the ball at around the 27, got it up to, what's that, the 40, the nose of the ball's on the 45-yard line of Tennant. So an excellent return, ran right up the middle of the wedge that time. Norristown's defense was in there. As a matter of fact, he stopped himself when he ran into one of his own blockers.
Okay. So with 2:11 remaining in the first quarter, the Eagles up 2-0. They've got good field position once again. Casano hands off this time to Davis. And he's stacked up this time by number 26. That's Bob Young, the right corner for William Tennant. And I'll tell you, Davis, interesting to see him in the ballgame, Alan. And
well, Forrest Davis, that's true. He's 5'9", 160, just a sophomore for the Eagles.
And I think that's why we haven't seen him. But, you know, you don't like to be negative about a ball player, but Van James really has not been that effective this year for Norristown.
He's had his moments, but they've been few and far between. And how you like that cliche?
That's great.
Thank you. But one thing Coach Roger Grove is not reluctant to do is put the younger players in there throughout the years, and it always leads to a better Norristown squad as the season progresses.
And there's Van James with a big run right after we start talking about him that way.
I'll tell you, Van is listening to this ball game on the sidelines, and he was a little annoyed at you after that last comment.
Well, that's a nice hole opened up by the offensive line that time for Norristown. That'll bring up about a 3rd and 2 situation.
And I think a lot of criticism is pointed towards Van occasionally because, let's face it, he had large shoes to fill coming into this season. Everybody expects the next Eagles tailback to be the reincarnation of Wayne Denson, and it just doesn't happen.
That's right.
Van's a good running back, but he doesn't have that explosive first step, and that stops him most of the time.
Nor does he have the physique of Wayne Denson,
exactly.
Who's just overpowering physically. And there's a man who's overpowering physically, Jacques Rochette, who bulls his way up for a first down for Norristown. The ball's down to about the 31, 32-yard line of Tennant.
And Jacques also had both hands wrapped around that ball.
I was just about to mention that. He had that ball cradled in there like a child. I mean, he had everything wrapped around it. And Jacques is a very intelligent young man.
What do you say, 1st and 10, about time to put it back up in the air for once?
I think they might.
Shake up the little defense here?
We haven't seen anything go to Andy Town or Billy Evans yet tonight. And they go to Van James off the left side for nothing. And he's stacked up this time by 54, Brian Carson, your linebacker, number 26, Bob Young.
It looks like that's going to be the end of the first quarter. Only about 20 seconds left to go. An interesting one. Couple of Eagles turnovers killing them.
And a very fast first quarter, thank goodness.
Well, we put in word earlier in the contest. The officials have no penalty flags tonight, no clock stoppages. That's it.
And really, I mean, some of the games we've seen this year have been so penalty-ridden, and they're not going to get the playoff before the end of the first quarter. So we'll switch ends of the field, folks. After one quarter, it's Norristown 2, William Tennant nothing. And Alan, I'm sorry, Alan, just to comment briefly, we know when Tony Koya took your place for those 2 games that you were away, we had the big crowds outside of Norristown, the chanting, the signs, keep Tony, we want Tony. And Tony Koya, in his infinite magnanimity.
Hold it. Define that one for myself and the viewers.
Magnanimity, graciousness.
Okay.
The grand sense of giving.
Thank you.
And Tony's allowed you this one last shot, Alan, to come back here to the press booth at Roosevelt Field and to give it one more shot. I don't know, Tony has become a cult object in the Norristown area, and he's good. What are you going to do, Al?
Well, I was shocked. I was coming back to town. I was coming up Main Street in Norristown, of course, and I saw the banners, "We love Tony," and I couldn't believe it. Then I was coming down Sturger Street. They had a parade. I could not believe this. All for Tony Koya. Pass completed over the middle.
Brian Murphy.
We're going. We might go. No, we won't go. It's going to be brought down at around the 2-yard line. Excellent reception, Brian Murphy, and a good pass, quick one, right over the middle to Murphy, who was cutting across from Frank Casano.
Well, I think what made that play is Brian Murphy's size. Murphy's 6'3", 190 at the tight end position, and he made that play. We talked about going to the air. We hadn't seen a complete pass yet in the ball game, and Frank Casano opens up the second quarter with a big strike, moving the ball all the way down, 30-yard gain on the play. We're at about the 2-yard line.
Well, I think it was a good play, too, especially coming in here, opening the quarter. We had said the play prior to that one, put it up in the air because I think Tennant's defense is getting used to the run.
Rashad up the middle. Nope, he stopped. Now, Alan, we've seen this situation a couple times this year. We saw the one game where Norristown had 1st and 1 from the 1 and couldn't get in because they ran the same play 4 times in a row.
Absolutely, and well, you know, I would assume that Norristown's offensive coordinator and Norristown's Roger Grove, they figure, hey, Jaquise Rochette, he's big enough, he's strong enough to bull his way in from that 1 yard out. Unfortunately, on many occasions this season, we've seen that isn't the case.
Well, it all hinges on that line surge. The offensive line must dominate the line of scrimmage, and it's really tough to institute blocking techniques when the defense knows basically what you're going to do. And they go again with the keeper, and they fail to get in again, so that will make it 3rd down and inches.
Now, see, here's where I think that the key play could be, with Frank Cassano's speed, just taking the ball, faking the handoff, and then going around one of the ends. Because he has such quick speed, I don't think the defense can get on him that quick with that little room to cover. Of course, that's why we're here, and Coach Grove is down there. That's why they win all the games and we don't.
And Coach Grove is on the field. We've got a timeout on the play.
Well, he's bringing the Keem some hot chocolate. So and I'm being fired after this game.
Well, I told you, Alan, this is your last shot. I'd be careful if I were you.
It just shows you how the mighty have fallen. This is 5 years that we've done this.
I'll tell you, Tony Koya, you know, former quarterback, Northeast High School.
Let me tell you the story about Tony Koya.
He's got the qualifications, Al.
Well, I think he has the personality, the dynamic personality, and of course the charm to pull it off.
That's right.
I was surprised at how many fans that we had that sent the postcards in, though.
I mean, just sacks of letters. You thought it was Christmas time at the North Pole. I mean, all those letters just pouring in about Tony Koya.
Well, you know, I think this is big for Tony, too, because we are, of course, playing out of our option. Norristown here, 3rd and inches this time. Cassano gives off the handoff to Rochette, and they get right into the end zone. Or, excuse me, is that Jaquise Rochette?
Yes, sure is. Number 35, Jaquise Rochette.
I think we mentioned it numerous times this season. Press box here at Norristown's Roosevelt Field, an excellent one. The problem is trying to see once you get past the 10-yard line on the other side. Impossible.
All right, 6 points more for Norristown as they take an 8-0 lead. Jaquise Rochette, and they took off that up the middle, straight up the middle play, and it was successful for them.
Little pitch, Jaquise had a head of steam by the time he hit the line.
Ronnie Minges for the extra point. High snap. It's up and good, though, and John Delamuto is your holder. Ron Minch is really effective this year with the kicking game for Norristown.
And, of course, he doubles also as one of the key scorers for the Norristown soccer team.
That's right, the Norristown High soccer team, their season's over now. They finished off in the first annual soccer bowl here at Roosevelt Field, which we did 1 week ago. I'm sure you'll be seeing that on your Norristown High cable channel if you haven't seen it already. An interesting ball game. Of course, Kenrick won 4-1. Ronnie Minges was the only scorer in that ball game for Norristown. And, of course, we hope that soccer catches on in the Norristown area as it's caught on all over the world as one of your major participation and spectator sports. And Norristown team had the best record in years this year. They were, I don't know, 6-9-4 or something like that.
There were quite a few seasons where if you got one victory.
13-1 and things like that. I saw many of those years. So I think Mike Roman did a fine job with this club this year. To kick off, number 2, Andy Town.
About 10.5 minutes ago here in this opening half.
Oh, never let it finish.
Fielded it around the 11-yard line. Has some running room, getting right up the middle.
Still going.
Quite a few more yards than he should have had that time. Let's see, returning that one.
25, Brian Milet.
That's right.
And the defense was just lax on the coverage that time. Never should have been that much yardage, especially since Milet let the ball bounce before fielding it.
Well, there were quite a few initial hits, but no one finished off the play. That was a 22-yard return that time, and it should have been held around 8 or 9. Okay, Kevin Zaper, quarterback for Tennant, backs in the I formation. Give to the second man through as Zaper slips. Some running room, though. Finally in there on the tackle, number 54, Mike Taylor for the Eagles defense.
And Milet really hit head on with Mike Taylor. Taylor slow in getting up. That was just like hitting a brick wall. I don't know who took the worst of it, though.
I would assume that seeing Taylor on the sidelines, I think Milet's feeling a little woozy at the moment.
But a big gain.
Mike Taylor has played very, very well this season.
He certainly has.
Okay, so another first down, 10 opportunity. Mila taking the ball once again, has some running room, tries to sweep out to the outside. Finally stopped there. Let's see, number 1, Luther Harling in on the tackle.
And Milet looks like a man possessed out there, doesn't he? He is really jamming at the ball, really going head on into the defense.
Let's see, Brian Milet, number 25, just 5'6", 165-pound senior. Very small, but extremely quick.
And I'll tell you what, Alan, not a bad crowd for as cold as it is here at Roosevelt Field. We've mentioned all year there's been fine crowds.
They knew I was returning.
Oh, that's right. All the publicity about the return.
True.
I forgot.
These are all my family. Oh, we have offsides that time. I believe, let's see, that was number 88 of the Eagles.
Raquette, I believe that is.
Yeah, Brian Raquette.
Right. I don't know if he says Raquette or Raquette. We don't want to offend.
You know, and I can't remember because Bishop Kendrick a few years ago had a quarterback with
right.
the exact opposite, and I can't remember that either. We will check on that, though.
Sure we will. We'll get one of our staff to do that. One of the myriad and many people who do our spotting, our statistics.
Stop using the big words here. I don't have my thesaurus with me. I don't have time to look them up. Second, and who knows? 2nd and 10? 2nd and inches.
Good enough. 2nd and inches.
And a fumble.
No.
I believe Tennant picks it up right again, though. I'm waiting for confirmation.
First down. Well, I don't dare contradict you.
No, I saw the ball. Okay, in the technical sense, it wasn't a fumble, but the ball popped loose for a moment. The running back brought it right back in, clutched it, and then picked up the first down yardage.
And that was number 34, John Grossi.
We have that on replay. I'd show it to you and diagram it. So
maybe next year.
8:24 left to go here in the opening half. Norristown up 9-0. 9 because of a safety. The Eagles picked up in the first quarter. Zaper rolling out, finds his man open. I believe that is number 11, Bill Simon.
And looks like the ball was jarred loose, but the officials rule it dead, so William Tennant will retain control. And that time, Theron Ellis narrowly missed a sack.
That's true. He was forcing Zaper right out of the pocket, but he kept his cool, fired the ball, and it was about an 18-yard pickup that time. So Tennant's offense finally mounting their first charge of the evening.
And finally is the right word. They were inept, I think to say the least, on their first 2 possessions.
Well, you know, Tennant's a team just like Norristown. They lost a lot of key returning players. As a matter of fact, 26 seniors graduated off their squad last year.
A lot of flags.
Lots of flags, you're right.
Oh, Luther Harling had that ball hit him in the face, I think. That was interception written all over it. We'll see, wait and see what the penalty is. I think it must be holding with the way the flags were flying. Perhaps illegal procedure, I don't know.
I think this is only the 2nd flag of the evening.
It has been a penalty-free night.
Let's see here.
Oh, we're still waiting for a call. Illegal motion, I believe it was, called against William Tennant. Will make it 1st and 15 with exactly 8 minutes to go in the first half.
Do me a favor, go over in the press box and turn up that electric heater. But
yeah, the electric heater really isn't working too well tonight.
Okay, Zaper this time keeps it himself. He is in trouble. He better unload this one. A foolish play.
To say the least. Theron Ellis in there, Brian Murphy, Greg Reinhardt. Zaper had, shall we say, I don't know if they were trying to set up the screen or what, but I think the lineman let that defensive line in a little bit too soon. Zaper had not a prayer.
That is a situation where if you're the quarterback, you have to unload that ball because now you've taken your offense 15 yards further back the field. Zaper that time, I think he might have thought he was Doug Flutie, but it didn't work quite as well.
Didn't work. We'll make it 2nd down and 30.
Kevin Zaper, though, you know, only a sophomore for these Panthers. They gave it to Miley right up the middle, and I'll tell you, he's got a fast first step there. Very explosive, can really drive through the line. Small guy, though.
Quick, very quick ball player, but I don't think on 2nd down and 30 that draw play was the right call.
You never know. The 3rd and 25 play could be a key one. I would have to say they're going to have to put it up here.
Yeah, it's about 3rd and 22, 23. They're in bad shape.
And You know the Norristown's defense is going to be coming in here. Plenty of time in the pocket, just lofts it right up the middle. This one's going to get picked off. Oh, dropped that time by number 2, Andy Town.
And Town was just like playing center field there. Now, Andy's a good baseball player, too. He should have had that ball.
Well, that time Joe Nelk was wide open, but he was about 5 yards in front of the 3 Norristown defenders who were back there in the zone. And that time Zaper just unloaded, and he flew a hanger.
Poor
just
pass.
Stayed up
I
there.
mean, the Norristown defense, they were just dropping back for the long pass. They knew they had to pass long. And Andy Town had that ball hit him right in the hands and just dropped it.
Yeah.
So it'll be 4th down and 23.
And you notice Tennant is going for it here, which they have nothing to lose. You're
Sure,
already
why
down
not?
9-0 and you're deep in territory. You might as well go for it. Zaper, another floater. This one's tipped up, and Luther Harling might have coming down with it.
Oh, no, that was almost a complete pass, though, Al. Harling tried to come down with it, and the ball player was right there, number 40. Sean Thomas was there for Tennant. He almost caught the tip off of Harling after Harling had the tip.
So the Eagles will be taking over the ball now.
Actually in better field position than if Andy Town had intercepted the ball.
Exactly. So much of the best laid plans, right? Backs in the I formation. It's Rochette and Van James who takes the pitch this time. Gets a block from Rochette, but he has no running room. Tennant defense stringing James out. He picks up maybe a yard on the play. In there on the tackle. Let's see, we had both of the safeties, or no, one of the cornerbacks, Rob Alford, and number 32, Joe Ballant? Ballant. One of the safeties.
Ballant. I don't know, they'll never see it.
I was thinking the same, but I wasn't going to say that.
Ballant.
It has a flair to it.
Yes, Ballant. Très chic.
Okay, they give Van James 2 yards that time. About 7 minutes left to go here in the opening half. Norristown up 9-0. Cassano unloading. Flags up, though. Wide open.
Bob Carson.
But I don't know. When you see the flag over in that section, I think this one's might be coming right back.
Could have been motion.
Yeah. I mean, he was wide open.
May have started a step
just
too
a tad
soon.
early, yeah.
Just a step. That was Bobby Carson. I'll tell you, it was a real nice pass by Frank Cassano, though, huh? Just dropped that ball in there.
That's what it
is.
And it was thrown over in his direction. As a matter of fact, did you see when he caught the ball, he kind of just jogged a couple of steps.
Well, they got to call it back. Did I start early? I think he admitted his guilt there. That's a shame, but I guess that's a little unfair advantage, though, when you start before the other players do.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes it 2nd down and 13, folks.
5:52 left in this opening half. And, of course, we should point out November 9th, the last conference home game against Abington. And then the biggie, Thanksgiving morning, 10 o'clock. Be there, November 22nd, Norristown against Upper Marion. Quite a good battle on tap for this one. The Vikings, one of their better squads this season. Casado dropping back, has some time, looking for
He's got
Andy
it,
Town.
Andy Town.
They ran almost the identical play that they did with Carson that time. Andy Town, we know he has 4.5 speed in the 40. He put it to his own advantage that time and just blew out past the defensive backs.
Bob Young was step-for-step coverage. I mean, Andy Town was really covered. Cassano just threw it in the right place, and Town ran under it, made a nice over-the-shoulder catch. It was a good play.
Well, Town picked up about a step a second before the ball was actually dropped right into his hands. And let's mention Frank Cassano that time. He had time in the pocket. The Norristown offensive line did its job. But more importantly, that is a tough throw. When you have to throw across the field, you know, you're throwing another 10 yards right there, and it's a timing play, and he nailed it.
Uh-oh, pressure this time, and Cassano is dropped quickly. Loss of 5 on the play. That was number 63, Pat Ellis. What a play by Ellis.
Oh, Ellis
really
just
penetrated.
He came right in. There was no chance that time. He took Cassano right at the ankles, and Frank couldn't even stutter step his way out of that one. 2nd and 16 now for the Norristown Eagles. 4:46 and counting left in this first half. Eagles up 9-0. They, of course, racked up a safety back in the opening quarter when Brooke Bugg sacked the punter in the end zone, and Jacques Rochette went in from about 1 yard out earlier.
With Ronnie Min just adding the PAT.
Cassano dropping back.
A lot of time. Oh, no. Oh, no. This could be, That's number 22, Rob Alford with the ball, and he's still running with it. He's going to cut cross field, and Mike Palladino finally says enough of this and brings him down. at the 42-yard line of William Tennant, and Frank Cassano had all the time in the world, just overthrew Billy Evans.
And he had great form that time. He just stood up tall, dropped back a few steps. Billy Evans, that's the guy he was intending that pass for, but his second INT of the evening, and what is that, the third turnover?
Third turnover, fourth possession problem. Jacques Rochette has twice fumbled in this ball game, and Norristown recovered the ball, though, once. So the third turnover, as Alan said. Oh! Luther Harling almost came up with a heck of a play, folks.
Well, I'll tell you, Brian Milet was out there. The pass was almost in his hands, and Luther Harling just stepped right in front of him and took it right out.
I was ready to say complete pass, and Luther Harling, I thought he had a big play. He saw 6, though.
That is the second time this evening that Luther Harling was. Of course, earlier when Tennant was driving, ball hit Luther right in the face mask as he was going for an interception. Luther has played extremely well after missing the first few ball games this season. He's really come in and done a good job in solidifying the Norristown defensive secondary.
I agree. 2nd down and 10 for the Panthers.
They give it right up the middle and some running room, and I think this is going to be close to a first down that time.
Sean Thomas that time with a nice gain on the play.
I'll tell you, the fans just keep pouring in here to Roosevelt Field.
I'm amazed. I mean, it's cold out here. It's good to see school spirit, though. I mean, I'll be interested to see what happens for the basketball season. That's indoors.
Which I'm looking forward to. Of course, Bill Werkheiser back our second year doing Norristown hoops.
Oh, Zaper on a quarterback keeper. Big play. Not only does he get the first down, wait a minute, ball's loose.
I believe it's going to be Tennant's ball.
Yes, it is. Official signal William Tennant's ball, so a gain of about 10 on the play as Zaper goes with the keeper. Back to basketball. I mean, I'm really looking forward to doing the basketball season this year. I don't know how the team's going to shape up. You know, we haven't heard from John Cresswell. It's a little bit early to be doing preseason stuff. The season starts in a little bit over a month. But, you know, Norristown's going to have a decent team no matter what.
Around here, a decent team for Norristown means 17 wins and perhaps a playoff game, so that's not bad. And around this time. Some running room, too. Bill Simons.
No, I think that was Eric Montagne. Number 10.
Yeah, that's right. Bill Simons, number 11. You're correct.
But did you notice he had to run all the way across field? He seemed to run out of steam as he got to the left side.
Well, you figure that's a good 10 to 15-yard jaunt there. By the time he tried to turn the corner, Norristown's defensive secondary was alert enough to catch on to the play. They got over there and made the stop.
It was only a gain of 3 on the play.
Theron Ellis once again applying pressure. Wide open that time. Zaper hits Bill Simons, number 11.
And Brooke Bugg drove him out of bounds, but there's no reason for a player to be that wide open.
Well, this time, though, Zaper is buying himself some time, unlike earlier in the contest where he simply dropped back. He's constantly rolling out to his right side, and he's a much more effective passer that time when Norristown's defense isn't breathing down his neck. Just 2:27 left to go here in the opening half. First and 10, 9-0, Eagles up. Very quick first half here. You can hear a Norristown marching band in the background. They're warm at least.
Montagne again this time. Tries to come back and go off the right side. Not too much there, though.
No winner.
Thought ahead. Flags all over the place.
See that many flags, you know it's illegal motion. It just depends on what side.
It could be delayed game. I don't know.
You may have a point there.
Offsides, Norristown.
Offsides, Norristown, okay.
Yeah, we know it's illegal motion. Well, that's an illegal motion.
Hey, look, offsides, it was motion,
That's
wasn't
right,
it?
That's right.
So,
I
in the
agree with you,
truest
Alan.
sense.
I agree. I agree. You had to move to be offsides.
The PIAA officials are looking at me a little strange, but hey.
That's right. That's right. But it's a first. Well, it's a 2nd down and 2 now with the 5-yard penalty. And the ball's at about the 18, 17-yard line of Norristown. So Tennant, with really their best opportunity of the game, that first possession, they just they squandered immediately. Didn't do anything with it. This time they're moving the ball. Montagne
Here comes the pressure. Bye-bye. Theron Ellis in there first, and let's see.
Joe Glisson.
Glisson, and he also gave an assist to
Vance Fisher.
Vance Fisher, right. but give the hurry that time, if you want to call it that, to Theron Ellis, who once again was right in the backfield.
And we were just talking about how well they're moving the ball, and the Norristown defense comes up with a big play because that moves them back way out of field goal range. The ball's now, with 3rd down and about 4 to go. And they're back now across the 21-yard line.
See, and just a minute 27 left to go in the half, too.
Of course, we'd like to thank our cameraman tonight, Dave Finlater, who's done the work for us here in the first half. I know Dave's right hand is cold from clutching that camera.
Have you noticed the other hand is staying right there inside of the vest? I'll tell you.
I keep switching hands for the microphone, but I know Dave can't do that with the camera. And of course, Sam Galbraith is here tonight, helping out with the camera work, producing and directing our show.
May we mention also that Sam Galbraith very warm here this evening with a hood and also insulated gloves. Which our cameraman Dave would love to have at this very moment.
But we won't say anything about how callous and cold and unfeeling Sam is being tonight towards Dave. That's not for us to say.
We're done after this season, boy, I'll tell you. 3rd and 6. Key play here for Tennant offense. They give it right up the middle. Some running room, and I think plenty of room for the first down. Matter of fact, within the 10-yard line, that might be down at around the 4.
And time, I think, also was a factor if they didn't get this this big play. Got 1 minute and 20 left to go in the half, and that's a heck of a play by Milet. He just blew up the middle.
Well, as we had said earlier in the contest, he has that explosive first step. Every time they've given him the ball and he's picked up some decent blocking, he's been taking quite a few yards out. Ball on the 6-yard line now.
And Tennant would love to go into the halftime 9-7, 9-6.
And here comes the rollout with Zyper. He has some running room, but he is finally taken down here. I thought for a second Zyper had gotten past, who was a Brookbug, had initially forced Zyper to cut back inside, but then Zyper, go ahead. Zaper. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I just realized, I'm looking at your notes and it says CZAPOR, and I'm saying Zyper. Hey, look, you can't win them all, That's why I'm doing this instead of CBS this weekend.
And Joe Glisson, let's give him credit, was in on the tackle that time for Norristown.
Look, I'm just going to call Tony up in a couple minutes, and I'm going home.
Well, Tony, I think, is sitting by his fireplace up in Bucks County, watching the flames dance in the hearth and those sorts of things. I won't say what he's doing while he's watching the
Tell the fans
the
the real reason why Tony Coy isn't here, because he didn't want to do this game because he knew it was going to be called. That's why he asked me to come back.
He called AccuWeather this morning, said, ooh, sounds like a good time to bring Alan back.
And let's see, it's 2nd and 10, 56 seconds left to go in the contest. Ball on the 4, I call it the 5-yard line. So all in all, still Tennant picking up 1 yard.
We got 56 seconds left in the half.
They have a timeout here by Tennant. That's the delay right now. Here comes, they're out of the huddle. What do you say?
Go to the air. Go to Simons.
Really? I say give it to Milet.
They got it.
Boom.
Touchdown.
Gone. Alan Raleigh, Coach of the Year.
I'll tell you.
Milet, they gave it to him once again. They've been so successful in doing that this evening. Quick 5-yard TD burst, Tennant on the board, and they have a chance to cut Norristown's lead to 2 going into the halftime here.
They can cut it to 1 if they go for the 2-point conversion.
That would not be a bad idea. I'd go for the 2-pointer.
I'd go for the 1 because then you can win it with a field goal.
Okay.
If you miss, it doesn't matter whether you're behind by 1 or 2.
Well, they're listening to you. They're going for it.
And of course, your kicker, number 35, Rhinus Liedelmeyer.
And he nails it.
And Rhinus put that one through the uprights, huh?
Well, we saw Rhinus earlier on the field goal attempt. He had plenty of leg into it, but he was just wide to the left side.
And he sounds like a foreign import to me. Sounds like one of those exchange students who makes the football team because he played soccer all his life.